listening to Two Babies in a Business, a podcast where Peter and I discuss, our random topics of the day as it relates to business, partnership, and parenting. But Peter, today we have an amazing special guest, Cynthia Mordecai. She is
Mhm.
from sunny California. I live vicariously through her weather.
Yeah.
She is the
Hence her
marketing.
sleeveless, her
Mm.
sleeveless shirt and
The
Christina's
heater's
toque.
on in the
Yeah.
office, but yeah. Yeah.
Cynthia, you are the marketing division director at WSI Smart Marketing,
Mhm.
I guess a company that Peter and I both look up to. And I feel like, I said this recently at a conference that we were both at in LA, saying that like if we were in the US, I feel like we would be you, and if you were in Canada, you would be us. So like my
100%.
sisterhood of the marketing agencies.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Very similar like thought process and process development. So I love it.
Philosophy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, guys?
Well, today I did draw this out of our bucket, but I pre-drew it so that we wouldn't put Cynthia too much on the spot. But we're going to talk about morning routine. So, how are our morning routines setting us up for success personally and in business? Yeah, Peter, I feel like you've you've always had a morning routine, but I feel like recently you've embraced a morning routine even more.
Yeah, for me, I think I guess the thing I've embraced is the thing that Christina introduced me to, which is something called the High Performance Planner, which is really just a really neat book, and it's based on a lot of science and research and sort of I think Berard is the last name of the guy who created it, and
Brennan Burchard.
Burchard, sorry, thank
Yeah.
you. He kind of based it on some of the habits that some of the most high performing people kind of
Right.
sort of do on a daily basis, and sort of some of the research around that. And yeah, I really like it because it allows you to basically just sort of sit down and fill in the blanks. So you don't have to think too much first thing in the morning, but it does sort of force you to sit down and sort of think, because you're filling in the blanks, you're filling in the information, you're thinking through your day. So yeah, it's kind of for me something that Christina put me on. Before that, I was doing just affirmations every day, just sort of randomly. So now I actually include my affirmations within my planner, as there's a couple sections where you sort of fill in the blanks as with whatever you want, and that's where I put my affirmations. And I also put 3 gratitudes every day into my 2 sections there. It's pretty key.
Yeah.
Cynthia, I feel like you and I both were just talking about Instagram, but I feel like, we both usually have a 5 or 6 a.m. Instagram of us somewhere doing
Yeah.
something. What's your morning routine?
Yeah, so it is similar to yours, Peter, too, where that's something. Brendan Burchard is someone I started following probably this last 6 months. So I'm familiar with, I haven't gone through his planner, but I'm aware of his kind of like high performance habits.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to read his book, but I listen to a lot of his podcasts. I know he has an app too, I think called Growth Day, which kind of helps as a personal development kind of structure and process. It's probably similar to the planner.
Yeah.
But so with my morning routine, funny enough, it happens in the morning, but it really starts at night, because in the morning, like my coffee's all set, my water, I have a glass of water with sea salt and lemon because we've been sleeping for about 7-8 hours. We're dehydrated. A lot of the time we just wake up and start having coffee, which dehydrates you even more. So there's this book I read where it's like, you should do that. So all of that gets set up at night. So I almost say like my morning routine starts at night.
Nice.
And then as the morning goes, it's like I wake up and everything's there. My gym clothes are laid out. I'm already kind of mentally preparing the night before. So I wake up typically around like 3:45 a.m. to about 4 a.m. And in that time between, I'd say 3:45 to 4:45, it's, I wake up, I do a little bit of meditation, I pray, I read, I have a pre-workout snack because I do a slightly intensive, about 60 to 90 minute workout around 5:15. So that first hour is really like priming my mindset to get ready one, to go work out. And then in that workout, like that's part of my morning routine that helps me get ready for the day. Like it is, and I'm sure, you know, you two are on the same kind of philosophy around this with fitness. It's not just the physical part of it. Like for me, that is the way that it's my spiritual fitness, my emotional, my mental, like it's all of that for me. So there's that morning, then the gym, and then at the gym, the reason why I'm there for so long, I then do a sauna, and then I do a cold shower after that.
Wow.
And then I come home. So I like to say that I have like, and I learned about this kind of concept from Ed Milet, who's another kind of like thought leader, where he talks about how typically people say their day is 24 hours, but really we should break up our day into 3 or 4 days, really 3 days, or like kind of different shifts. So what I've realized is like 4 to 9 a.m. is a whole day. Like it is a whole day before I get to the office. And that when we talk about like that personal, what I'm doing on my own time, really then bleeds into my professional, where if I need to come to work focused, with the right mindset, with the right attitude to lead my team, like I have to come and show up, because there's days where, you know, we're not feeling our best, but we gotta put that aside and show up for our team. So
Wow.
yeah, so all of that, when I don't do those things, like it completely throws me off. And so every time when I wake up in the morning, it's like, of course I'm tired, the bed is comfortable and it's warm and it's cold outside, but it is worth it. And I start thinking about all these things. And Christina, we were talking about like the Instagram and the posting, and like people see that. And so it is accountability for ourselves, but it's like, it's such a huge part of that kind of like mindset priming. So it's been huge for me. I never used to do this. It's been really in this past year with doing 75 hard and live hard and like getting those habits, where now it's just like, it's who I am and what I do. So when people say like, how do you do that? Like, how do you stay? It's like, I don't know. It's kind of just part of who I am now.
Yeah. It's amazing how you create habits for yourself, and then it's sort of like hardened to not be in those habits. We were talking the other day with Christina about, actually I think our kids were asking us about like, when do you set your alarm, or where do you set? And it's like, I don't set an alarm. It's like my body wakes me up naturally when it's time to wake up. And
it's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like my bladder will wake me up at like on a Saturday at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, okay, this is the weekend. We're supposed to get at least like maybe another half hour.
Yeah,
So
totally, right? Yeah, your body gets used to it, and then you sort of, you know, I like that you mentioned 75 hard too, because to me 75 hard was a really interesting thing about ramping up your body, and then ramping up your mind, and then just being like performing at a higher level, because because of the habits that it instills and the things that you do, and then you're just able to go, and you have so much more energy all day because of those habits, right?
Oh yeah. I used to think like, and not to say that I wasn't like successful before or doing great before, like I've always had a lot of, I take pride in my work and my work ethic, and that it's like I'm always here to do my best. But when I look at like a year ago or 2 years ago and what I was doing, what I thought was good, it's like there is another level. And so with doing all of these things, and I've never had so much more energy and focus by making sure I have this like morning routine, a nighttime routine as well, and that's completely separate. And like having these, and you know, people say it doesn't seem overwhelming to do all these things. It's like, no, I mean, I think on paper it kind of looks like a lot. It's like you journal, you read, you do a sauna, you shower, you do, it's like seems like a lot, but you just do all these things within a matter of like a couple hours, and it's not a lot.
So true. And I feel like that mindset shift, like I always told myself, like, I'm the type of person who needs my sleep. I need to sleep in, and I'm a big sleeper. I remember being like, I don't know, I think I was probably like 8 months pregnant and crying because I went, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to sleep in again. Now I'm going to have kids and this is it. My life is over. And Peter, we've talked about this before, but when the kids were really little, I feel like I told myself this lie about morning routines, that it was like, okay, now in the morning you need to be home just in case something happens, because you got to like be here for clients if there's a client emergency, you have to be here for kids if the kids are up. And it was, I think, 75 hard, even a little bit before that, probably I don't know, Peter, probably like a 6 months to a year before 75 hard, where I started like really going hard at like the 6 a.m. workout. And then, I feel like you're an hour ahead of me. Mine, I'm about like, well, maybe not an hour, 15 minutes. I'm going to say 4 o'clock is usually when I'm up. So
Yeah.
you've hit it for 15 more minutes earlier, but
Yeah.
it's
There's
become
days
this
when it's 4.
it's become this important time. Like it is a day.
Yeah.
And like that's my day. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people ask me to like, oh, like you run a business and you do all these things and you don't have any time for yourself. And it's like actually I have this whole day every day that I wake up and no one else is around. That's my time to journal. That's my time to reflect. That's my time to like literally just sit and have a cup of tea if I need to, do the pre-workout thing, and then be in the gym and start to reflect, whether that's, I talk about my spin days as my like turn off my head days because I
Yeah.
can't focus on anything else other than that. But there's something really important about, taking an hour of your day where it's just you and you're
Yeah.
setting yourself up for that success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
so Christina, you obviously work out in the mornings, and so this is a bit of as a couple that has kids and is trying to run a business and all those things, we've sort of basically set things up so that Christina works out in the morning and I don't. So her routine is different because we have to kind of manage the kid scenario. So so I actually, for me, I sort of do some of the same things, the high performance planner, a little bit of focus, thinking, a little bit of just sort of, I don't want to call it meditation, but meditation, really just reflection. And then I actually like to, for me, like within the first 45 minutes of waking up, like just like sit down at my desk before my kids get up and like accomplish my biggest work task of the day. If I can get my biggest kind of thing that's going to take the most thinking done, write a big piece of something, or whatever it is, and then usually then it's like, hey, I've already had a productive work day and now I'm getting my kids ready for bed or for school, and then it's like, obviously I have to be productive for the rest of the day, but I've already got that big rock completed for the day, which is an awesome thing. And then that obviously gives Christina her space, and then I usually typically go to the gym around 10 or noon depending on the day. So obviously sort of juggling all of the things that need to be juggled there. That's sort of, as a couple, how we kind of make it work.
Yeah, and it's really admirable. I don't have kids, so like, and I'm not like running a business. I'm helping, Ryan, who's our managing partner, kind of really build and scale this business. But, I kind of look to both of you. It's super admirable and inspiring because I'm sure it's not easy. And like you said, like you both are high performers. So for us, I feel like it's hard to turn this off. So even just being able to have that hour in the morning to not think of anything, like that's for us our like internal reflecting. And like I know we've been talking about like meditation, but visualization is also something else. And I've seen it I started doing that this year with Live Hard. I've seen it completely come true where you visualize something, and then because you're setting off that like the reticulator activating system, and then you're going through where I've visualized a conversation, which then prompted me to schedule a meeting, and then it happened the way I envisioned it. So it's like that time is so important, where it's like those things wouldn't happen unless you're taking some time to just sit and like in your thoughts without any distractions, which doesn't happen typically around that early in the morning.
Well, this is what's beautiful about the 5 to something window, or 4 or 3 or whatever time you get up, is that it's quiet time. It's legit quiet time. Nobody's bothering you. Really have time to reflect. And I think it's probably the most for me, I'm sure for both of you, probably the most valuable time of the day, just for that exact reason, right? Yeah.
It's true. There are days where the off days you have, and I'll sit and I'll go in the middle of the afternoon like, oh, what happened today? And it's like, it's the day where that morning routine went sideways, right? It's the day that I did get to journal and really think about, okay, what do I want to visualize for the day, or what am I affirming about my day? And it's like, it always aligns. It's always like, oh, today doesn't feel right. And it's like, well,
something's missing.
It's like very clear.
But I love how you talked about the sort of the chunks of the day, if you will, or the sort of days within the day. I love that concept, because for me sometimes, like if I woke up and I had a great morning and it was really productive and I got stuff done, and if it's like noon and I like just had a workout and then and I don't have meetings and I'm kind of unproductive at it's like, hey, I had a full day already. like
Oh,
it's
right.
all
Yeah.
good. You know what
Now
I
you're
mean?
just moving on to your next day, which is going to look completely different.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's just like day 2. Yeah.
And so like it might be like, hey, I have no meetings, I have no, and it's like and I've done everything today that I need to do. Then maybe in the afternoon I'm gonna go and do something, like, because we work from home as well, which is an interesting sort of added whole
Oh,
thing
yeah.
to this whole thing, right? And so it's like maybe I'll go wash the car, or maybe I'll go do still productive time. But it's just maybe I'm done work, my brain is fried, or that's a time to get on the phone and reach out to clients or reach out to prospects or do the sort of stuff that my brain's fried in terms of sitting in front of a computer or whatever. But I like that. I've like had chunks of my day already.
When
It's
you've
all good.
already like done the hard things, like you said, you've completed the big rocks or made progress or traction towards something that's going to take a while. So, it's always encouraging. That's like, I already did those things and I was productive, and now you can do fun, like you said, fun, productive things, wash the car, which are still productive.
Yeah.
And, we're still here to live life and have fun and not just like, spreadsheets all day.
Yeah, totally. I just can't do it.
I mean, I love a spreadsheet, so
yeah, you too especially love the spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, so what would you guys give Cynthia, especially someone like the advice? Okay, I'm starting a morning routine, or I want to change my habits. Where does someone start? What would you tell them?
I would say like pick one thing and master that. Because I feel like, especially with the new year, when people try and do all these things, they may fail because they're new habits and it takes a while to form them, and ends up discouraging you. So maybe if it's I want to wake up earlier, don't create an unrealistic expectation that you're going to all of a sudden wake up an hour earlier every single day, 5 days a week. It's like, okay, let me wake up 15 minutes earlier and start there and then build on it. So I'm sure you've heard of the concept of habit stacking, where it's like you do one thing, then it builds upon the other. So I feel like it's, implementing one thing, getting that small win, which then really boosts your confidence, and then you pick up another habit. So
nice. I like it.
I would say that.
Yeah. Peter, what would your advice be?
My advice is the same as I always give everybody about everything all the time, which is change your story and change your life. So I feel like I constantly hear people being like, I'm not a morning person, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's like you need to change the story in your own mind before you can actually change and start creating habits. And so, you know what, it's like, that's where for me affirmations come in. Like I literally for a year wrote, I am this, I can this, I will this. And I like just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And then eventually I started taking action and I started working towards those goals, because I got tired of, I keep writing this thing. It obviously is important to me, but I'm not doing it. Okay, the next step is doing it. So there's a lot of interesting kind of conversation amongst people of like, you actually need to take action to make change in your life. And I agree with that. But I think before you can take action, if you don't change the narrative in your brain, then you're just going to like set yourself up for failure. So to me, I always tell people like, you need to change the narrative first. And really focus on the narrative and change this, and it's like, Christina, like, honestly, she was like, it's shocking to me that she's wakes up at 4 a.m. or whatever it is every day. Like if you knew Christina 5 years ago, like this, this is not Christina.
My husband would say the same thing. I used to wake up around 6:30, 7, rushing to work, rushing to the gym, and I hated it. And I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So it's been, so probably Christina the same. Like, yeah.
So now she's a morning person, and that's what she tells herself, right? And
but it's so true. We have to like identify as someone who's like, I am someone who wakes up early, and then when you don't meet that, it's like it can be frustrating. So then you make action. Yeah.
Okay, my advice would be make sure that you're splitting your morning routine between personal and business. So like make it about you and make it about multiple aspects of your day. Because I feel like the days where work or professional or that piece doesn't drive you, something personal is going to drive you. And then vice versa. If you're feeling gross about personal, or there's something stuck there, or then business can drive you. So I feel like this like healthy balance of two things, and probably just healthy in life to think about those two different perspectives.
Right.
But mine isn't all about Christina the business lady who's making a spreadsheet. It's also about like, okay, what do I have to do to progress this personal goal or the kids or be a great wife or partner or whatever. So I would, my advice would be split it. Don't go all in on one thing. Allow your yin and yang to kind of push each other in the right direction.
That's so right. That I just started a book yesterday. Now you say yin and yang. It's the teachings of Bruce Lee, written by his daughter Shannon Lee.
Oh, nice.
And it's called Be Water, My Friend. And he talks about he does talk about like yin and yang and that philosophy, and the idea of being water, like be flexible. Like water can be really soft, but it can be really strong. And it kind of just goes with the flow in a steady, calm way. And it's, if you can trap water, and it's like, can be calm if you let it go, like it can come out bursting. So it's like, go with the flow, like just that concept.
I love
like
that.
Be adaptable.
Interestingly, on a kind of similar note, my kind of big goal for 2023 is to like just trust my intuition more and to be more intuitive. And I think that sort of fits in with the go with the flow, right? It's like, hey, if my gut's telling me I need to spend an hour this morning thinking about this thing that's bothering me about my personal life or whatever, then hey, no problem. Then that's what I'm going to do, right? Like you got to just like listen to your gut. Just an interesting. I'm learning a lot about gut health recently, and so did you know that your vagus nerve, which goes from your brain goes from your like down your esophagus to basically your bum, it goes down your whole body.
He's not a medical.
I'm not a scientist. This is not science, but anyways, the point is that for every signal that goes down from your brain, there's 10 signals that go up from your gut. And so your gut is actually your brain, or is actually like a huge part of your intelligence. And so when your gut is telling you something, it's almost guaranteed to be right. So trust your gut.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There you go. We need to trade some more book titles.
I know. Yeah, I know. What book is that? So give it to me.
I'll have to think about which one that is. I've literally listened. I listen to audiobooks, and I'm listening to like 6 books right now. So
I think that one was Plant Paradox.
No, I don't think that was Plant Paradox.
Yeah, I love any kind of like fitness. I mean, you two know me. Like I became certified this year. It's a huge passion, and I'm working on like a nutrition certification. So I'm gonna start reading about like all of that. So anything like fitness related, like anything with the body, I love learning like what this thing can do.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a book. I'll just say it right here. I have an interesting book called The Biology of Belief.
Oh, cool.
Really interesting topic.
Biology of belief. Okay, cool.
So it's a bit sciencey. But it's about the biology of belief, like literally.
No, I love all that kind of like the science backed research, and I know like Mel Robbins does a lot of that, and like Brendan and stuff. So I'll have to look that one up, and then I'll send you the Ed Milet, the different days, and then teaching Be Water, My Friend.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome book. I definitely have to check it out.
A good one.
Nice.
There you go. Well, Cynthia, thank you for chatting with us today.
Of course. Thanks for inviting me. I was so excited when I got your email. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I would love to like do this more. And so whenever you want to do this, let me know.
Awesome.
Nice. For sure. I'm confident you'll be back, probably to review some of these books.
Yes.
We'll do the nighttime, and we'll do a nighttime routine.
Oh, I like that.
Reviews. Yeah.
Nice.
I love it. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us on Two Babies in a Business. You know where to find us. Keep following along for the next episode.
Thank you for joining in for another episode of Two Babies in a Business. CIPR Communications is a public relations and digital marketing firm partnering with clients across North America to reach their brand reputation and lead generation goals. Follow us on social at CIPR Comms and check out our website ciprcommunications.com for more information. If you have questions or want to be part of a future podcast, reach out at media@ciprcommunications.com. I'm James Falls, CIPR's PR specialist, and I'm looking forward to our next episode. Subscribe on your Spotify or iTunes account so you don't miss the next one.